Valley Queens! I'm Julia.
And I'm Denise.
And today we're moving on to our second project in River Valley. The first one that we did was Robertson Opus, which is a 999-year lease condo. And now we're moving on to Promenade Peak. Promenade Peak will be the tallest residential development in Singapore.
I mean, it stands at 63 floors high, and later we'll share with you how the unit breakdown is like. So before we go into that, essentially introducing today's agenda, okay? So we'll talk a bit about the River Valley collection, and then whether, PP63 as we call it, you can make money or will you lose money from this project itself. And later we'll go into the layout analysis and also checking in whether it's actually overpriced. And also, this is the bonus that we have for you guys, the booking day strategy based on your budget.
Without further ado, let's take a look at all the upcoming developments in the River Valley area.
Okay, actually before we go into that, as you can see, this year there are a lot of projects in the core central region that will be launching. So on my left side, take a screenshot if you want to. These are all the projects that will be happening this year itself. Robertson Opus have actually opened doors. And what happened is that at this point of filming, PP63 and Rivergreen will be actually launching next week. So we're really, really excited, and we have done so much research for you guys so that you don't have to. Okay, so this is what will be coming up this year, and as you know, there's W Residences is coming up, Opus is also coming up, and now let's zoom down into the River Valley collection. These are the 5 main projects that will actually be launching. We have Rivergreen by Wing Tai, 524 units. We have Promenade Peak that we'll be actually discussing and analysing today. That one will have about 596 units. And there's Grand Zion by CDL. Okay, that will be a mixed development that will have service apartment as well as commercial on the first floor. And we have 2 more plots which will be Parcel C as well as Parcel B that Gokulan has just bidded.
These 5 projects which are going to be launched in the River Valley area, they are all going to be 99-year leasehold. The only one closest to this that's launching this year in 2025 would be Robertson Opus, and that's a 999-year leasehold project. We've done an analysis on Robertson Opus, so feel free to click on the link wherever you see it, or just search on the search bar to look for our analysis of Robertson Opus.
Or scan the QR code if you want us to send it directly to you guys for you to take a look at.
Okay, so Denise, biggest question. So in River Valley, there's a very good mix, but predominantly there are a lot of condos which are freehold, right?
Yeah, in this area itself.
With all these 99-year leasehold condos, is it going to make money or lose money?
Well, here's the big question that a lot of people ask as well. I mean, you are basically launching 5 projects that are 99 years in a place where there are so many freehold condo projects and all rather new and all with rather big land plots. Let's zoom down to take a look at all these projects.
So in the 5 plots that will be launching in the River Valley area, they're all going to be 99-year leaseholds. But for Robertson Opus, that's the 999-year leasehold one. So if you're interested to watch that analysis that we've done, just go onto our YouTube channel to look for it. Alternatively, you could scan the QR code to reach out to us and we'll send you the link. And since you're here, please help us to do us a favor and click on the like and subscribe button so that you can receive more of such videos, and it helps us to boost the YouTube algorithm.
Okay, now here's the question that most people will ask. Since they are going to launch 5 99-year plots, right, among so many freehold condos, will buyers actually lose money? Because if you look at River Valley, it's very unique. There are really a lot of freehold projects. You have, like, for example, RV Residences, those which are like 5 stories high, a slightly more boutique project. You have Valley Park, which is really huge. You have, like, for example, Tribeca by the waterfront, the Trillium, Centennial Suites, that whole row of pretty high-rise condos that go up to like 30 over floors. You also have like Martin Place Residences and Avinia. So there is a lot of freehold projects, and not to mention your favorite Yong An Park, which is so huge in this area itself. So, will a 99-year project in this area actually have a disadvantage?
Before we answer that question, let's take a look at how much these freehold condos are going for in the resale market.
Okay, I've actually drawn down a couple of projects just to give you an idea, just for 3-bedroom, okay, just as an example, what the prices are like. So as you can see, like a boutique project, RV Residences for 800 plus square feet unit, you can start looking at about 2.1 million and onwards, okay. Next, you have your Valley Park, starting from about 4.2 for a really good size, 1,700 square feet, 3-bedroom, but a very much older project, all the way to, Martin Place, also from 4.2, Tribeca by the waterfront from about 4.6. Then you have Avinia, which is the newest, and also freehold as well. This one starts from about 5.5 million.
So basically, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom freehold condo in River Valley, for those with about a $3 million budget range, it will only be able to get you a small 3-bedroom unit in River Valley. If you have a bigger budget, that jump is going to be up all the way to about the $4 to $5 million range for a bigger freehold project. So there's a bit of a gap here, right?
That's right. So the gap is actually quite big. If you want something that is below 3 million, you can have your RA residences, the slightly more boutique projects that don't have a lot of facilities. But if you're someone who likes a lot of facilities, a big pool and things like that, then you do look at the bigger projects. But bigger projects, as you can see, the price entry point will start from 4 million and onwards. Okay, even like Cosmopolitan, it's a bigger project, but this is actually a 2+ study. I've looked at the floor plan. This is actually just a 2+ study unit, although it's 1,300 square feet. More about the floor plan and layout analysis in a bit. Okay, so Jupes, in an area with so many freehold projects, as you've seen, ranging from 2 to 5+ million, how do we determine a safe entry price for our clients and buyers that are watching this for projects like, Promenade Peak?
Okay, so today we're looking to analyze Promenade Peak and whether or not should you buy or will you lose money if you were to buy it. So Promenade Peak is a mid-sized project. So based on that, let's compare with the freehold mid-sized projects in River Valley, which are within 500 meters to the MRT. If you're looking for a freehold project in River Valley with more than 150 units and within 500 meters to the MRT, this is all that pops up. You have Avenir, Valley Park, Rivergate, Tribeca, 8 St. Thomas, and of course the rest that you can see here. Are they profitable? How much are they asking it? Come, let's take a look. Valley Park is a freehold condo. Let's take a look at the 2-bedroom, how they have transacted in the resale market. In the past 2 years, the average price of a 2-bedroom unit is about 2.618 million, and it ranges from 2.3 to about 3.07 million. And this is for a 2-bedroom unit that's freehold in River Valley. Currently, right now, there are about 11 listings for sale, and that is out of 728 units. So you can see that actually in Valley Park itself, many of the owners, they do not buy to sell, and they buy to hold and to get good rental income from these properties. And they will only sell if maybe circumstances change or they are looking to upgrade to a bigger size unit. So if you look at the 3-bedroom units in Valley Park, the range is from about 3.2 to about 4.06 million, and on average about 3.575 for a 3-bedroom unit in River Valley. Currently, right now, we have about 4 listings for sale, and they're all on the average of about 3.68 million.
So basically, right, I was actually serving a client that was looking at River Valley area, and we found that actually with a 3 mil budget, right, like for Valley Park, we can only get a 2-bedders. That even within a 2-bedder, it was impossible to segregate another room. We thought, it's such a big size unit, maybe 1,003, maybe can cut out another room, but it's totally impossible unless you put it in the living room. Then that room won't have a window. So it's really impossible because the rooms are already big, but how are you going to actually make space for a 3rd bedroom? So if you want to go into a 3rd bedroom, the stretch is then a lot higher. The stretch, as we can see, right, is looking about $1 million for just one more room.
Yes. So while the size is a very, very good size, very comfortable, it's just not efficient enough for you to carve out one additional room. So in order for you to have one proper room where you can have windows, aircon, and actually natural daylight just coming through, you're looking to pay about $1 million more for an additional room.
Yeah, so that is for Valley Park. Now let's check out. See, now currently there are not even any 4-bedder listings even in the condo itself. So as you can see, even in this area, right, not many people are actually selling units within a project. There's limited supply basically.
Primarily also because this project was completed in 1997, and back then it was bought and transacted in an era where there were no ABSD. So many of the owners there, they have holding power, and for them to be able to switch and sell off their property, there's no big impetus to do so.
Okay. Next, we have Rivergate, okay? And what happens is that likewise, okay, it's a fairly newer project, 545 units, okay? And as we can see, there's a range of 2, 3, 4 bedders they are asking. Okay, same likewise, I think to Valley Park is that for two bedders the range will be about 2.9 to 3.1, and these are units that have been transacted already, as in those that have been sold and all. Okay, and even for three bedders, the jump there about is also about 1+ mil. As you can see, right, basically two bedders are already about 3.1. If you want a three bedder itself, it's roughly about 4.3, maybe 4.2 on average itself for those that are transacted, and currently only 5 listings on sale. And
So again, likewise for this, in order to get an additional bedroom, the premium that you're going to be having to pay is about 1 million.
1 mil. And then another mil again for the 4-bedroom. You see, the jump essentially, in fact, it's 2 mil, it's not even 1 mil, okay? So from 3 to 4 bedder, it's basically a jump of 2 million itself on average, as you can see. So, I mean, buyers who are buying in this area, let's say if you're looking at 3 or 4 bedders, you're looking in the range of about at least, 4+ mil to about 5+ mil, thereabouts. And also not many listings. For example, in Rivergate itself, there's only 5 listings for 3 bedrooms, there's none for 2 bedroom, and for 4 bedder, there's only one listing. Only one listing itself.
So now we have Cosmopolitan. They also have 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. Let's take a look at the price that it was transacted at. For the 2 bedroom, in the past 2 years, there's only one transaction, and that was sold at 2.85 million. And some might say that, okay, maybe because there's only one transaction because there's no demand for it. But if you were to look at the listings available in the market, only 3 listings are up for sale. So again, this development came from the era where there was no ABSD, and the people who bought into it, there's no large impetus for them to let go because the replacement cost will be very, very high. And the rental yield in this area is very, very good and very strong. Moving on to the 3 bedroom. 3 bedroom also, in the past 3 years, only 3 transactions, and they're in the range of 3.7 to 3.78. So on average, about 3.73. Currently, right now, only 1 listing for sale, going at about 3.88. For the 4 bedroom, only 1 transaction as well, went for 4.6 million. Currently, right now, only 1 listing that's up for sale, going for 4.98 million.
Yeah, so it's really limited, for buyers in this area. There's very limited choices in order, if they want to buy in. Okay, the 2 bedder is already 3 mil plus, or even high 3s, close to 3 itself, and the 3 bedder is like 4 mil plus.
So if we look at this follows the same trend in the 2 other freehold condos that we spotted just now. 2 bedroom, 2.8. 3 bedroom, 3.7, that's about $1 million extra. And then 3.7 to 4.6, that's about 900,000, which is also, again, almost 1 million.
Almost 1 mil to top
up. So for
up.
every upgrade of every additional room that you have in the house, you can be prepared to pay about 1 million. Is it worth it?
Well, I mean, 1 million for another bedroom. Wow.
It's like buying another house, like buying a studio unit. Of course, today not many studio units are about $1 million, but with a studio unit, you at least have a kitchen, toilet, and the bedroom itself. But here, we're looking for 1 additional bedroom, and that is a jump of almost 1 million.
Okay, so let's take a look at 8 St. Thomas, which is slightly newer, also freehold. Okay, TOP in 2018, slightly smaller because it only has 250 units. Likewise, okay, these are transacted units itself. For privacy, we've actually blurred out the stacks. But as you can see, the 2 bedrooms itself are also hitting in a range of 2.7 to almost 3 million. Okay?
This is for 872 square feet, 2.7 million at a PSF of about 3,000.
Yeah.
3 bedroom, also PSF about 3,000, and that will give you a price of about 3.98 million. So the floor plates are big, and the PSF are not low either, and that leads to an eventual very big, gigantic price tag.
Yeah, so I mean, River Valley is in the core central region. Essentially, it's a nice mix. You live by the river, what we mentioned in Opus itself. You're very close to a lot of entertainment areas as well, shopping areas, and you're very close to the CBD. So it's kind of like staying very close to the city, okay? But you're also not too far from a lot of amenities. Whereas a lot of places you lack maybe one or the other. Whereas here you're really close to both.
Yes, and at least in the River Valley area, if you feel like eating hawker food, it's just 10 minutes
Zion
away.
Hawker Centre, you want to eat something atas, there are options available as well. You can head down to Orchard and all. So I think it's an area that a lot of people desire to really stay in, like Zion Road and all that. Okay, so now with this in perspective, right, it seems that 3 mil, right, you can really only get like a two-bedder in the River Valley area. It seems like if you want something like, you have to stretch your budget by a lot to, if you want to enter like in just to get a 4-bedder or 3-bedder in this area itself.
So 2 point something million for a two bedroom unit, 3 point something won't get you anything that's 3 bedroom that is in a mid-sized development. You need to budget for about 4 point something million for a 3 bedroom freehold, 5 point something to 6 million for a 4 bedroom freehold. So there's a gap that we have noticed in the market here, and of course the developer has spotted that too. Let's take a look at the newest condos in River Valley that have achieved TOP that are both freehold and leasehold, and let's take a look at the transacted prices to see what the market has accepted it at.
Okay, so as we can see, the latest one that just TOP'd, it's Irwell Hill as well as Avinia. One better, I mean, as you can see, let's just based on PSF itself, they have actually hit close to 3,000 PSF for a 99-year condo. Avinia itself is freehold. Likewise, it's hit about 3,600 for the 4-bedders. So as you can see, right, because it's freehold, a lot of the units actually are transacting between 3.1 to 3.6 PSF. And next, we have Martin Modern. As you can see, same. Likewise, the PSF actually went from about 2006 to 2008 as well. And next one, we have Riviera by Frasers. Likewise, it's about in the range of 2008 to 2009 per square feet, even for such newer condos that have just TOP in the last maybe couple of years.
So if you can see, these 3 condos are 99-year leaseholds, and look at the PSF that it has transacted at.
So I think we do see some level of opportunity here. As you have seen just now, like 3-bedders are trending around like the high 3s to about 4 million in the area itself. Okay, so for example, Avinia is about 3.5 for the last transacted for the 3-bedroom. Martin Modern is about 3.2-ish, thereabouts, okay? And Riviera starts from about 3.8. The cheapest one that we've seen is actually Irwell Hill, but do note the floor plate for the 3-bedder is really
Very
much
small.
smaller, 861 square feet, and it's non-harmonized. So essentially, if you want to enter River Valley, this is kind of the range they're expecting to actually pay when you want to secure a unit in this place itself. Okay, so Jobs, back to our main questions. Do 99-year condos in this area with many freeholds actually make money?
Okay, so let's take a look at these information here. Basically, from what we shared so far, these 3 are 99-year leaseholds, and these are the transacted prices in the resale market. Let's see how they have performed for the sellers. So you can see for Martin Modern, highest profit was $1 million, and this was after a holding period of about 7 years. On average, you can see that very, very healthy profit. Let's take a look at the entry price, because entry price is very important. So entry price back then
In 2017, yeah.
was here, and they were in about 2,000 to 2,200 range. And when they exited, that's about 2009, 2008, 2009, 2007. In this range is about 2007 on average was their exit PSF. So very, very good and healthy transactions here with very good profits after a holding period of approximately 6 to 7 years.
But Jobs, recently the government actually changed the ruling for the seller stamp duty, from a 3-year holding period to a 4-year holding period. How will this affect our buyers and those viewers that are watching our video?
My buyers, some of them were very worried, but when I shared with them, whenever we do calculations, we never ever calculate based on the 3-year holding period. We always budget for a 3 to a 5 years to a 7 years holding period in case there's any economic downturns or any movements in the market. We cannot control, and how we wish we have a crystal ball to be able to predict into the future to know when is the best time to sell. But whenever we buy any property in Singapore, it's very important to have a 3 to 5 to 7 years holding period in case there are any economic downturns. So you can see that the holding period for the owners of Martin Modern were around 6 to 7 years.
See, what a lot of buyers are very concerned these days is that, oh no, I have to hold so long. But don't forget, you are actually, later on we'll share the rental pricing in this area itself, but we noticed that the rents in this area are super, super healthy and strong because this area attracts a lot of locals as well as expats to actually lease in this area. I mean, it's a really vibrant area itself to stay in, basically. So it attracts a lot of young couples, a lot of dings, a lot of even young families who want to stay within the area that's so near CBD as well.
So don't have to be too concerned about, oh, I need to sell off by 3 to 4 years. Even with a longer holding period, you're still seeing very, very good profit growth in your development.
Yeah, I mean, if you analyze it, it's easily like 3 to 4% growth per year for your project itself. I mean, you can easily sell it or lease it out. So I would say just be prudent. Whatever we buy today, let's have a longer horizon of holding it instead of just planning to flip within a 3-year period. Let's plan for something longer. And this is what we do when working with our clients or buyers like yourself. So instead of talking all about the upside, of holding it longer and all that, there are people that have made losses in this project itself, and we just want to be
Despite
very
holding
transparent.
for 5 years, and some of them held for 3 years, they made a profit. Some of them held for 3 years and they made a loss. Why is that so?
So as you can see, remember what happened is that now we're actually looking historically at units that have been transacting and all. And as we noticed, there was this unit on the 23rd floor, okay? They actually bought in 2018 and they held for, a good 5-year period, but they only sold at 67K profit. However, another one on the 22nd floor, okay? They actually held longer, they held 7 years itself, and they made 3 times more in terms of profit. So sometimes it's actually worth it to hold longer than to just want to let go and flip at the wrong timing. So that's why buying strategy is also very important to ensure that what you're entering in is something that you can exit with profit in future as well.
So it depends on who you ask whether buying into Martin Modern, a 99-year leasehold condo in the River Valley area, whether it's a profitable one or an unprofitable one. It depends on whether the seller or the agent is the one that is selling for a unit that is on this end of the spectrum or the one that actually made the $1 million. So within every development itself, being able to have a good and solid buying strategy is very important. So for us, we have already planned out and analysed the entire River Valley region to help our buyers to have a very customized buying strategy, and that based on your budget, based on your intending holding period, and also based on your requirement, whether it's for own stay or investment, we have a tailored strategy for you to be able to be empowered to go and buy the right unit and select the right unit within the development itself that gives you the highest chance of a good exit.
So if you want to find out more, do scan the QR code above and get in touch with us, hop on a call, and we can share more with you. Before we talk about the project itself, let's take a look at the, how tall the buildings are around the area. As you can see, on the left-hand side, mostly are older projects. They tend to be maybe, 2 to 3 floors, some up to 19 floors, like Melrose Park. You have the HDBs that go up to 25th floors. And then on the right-hand side, where is the newer projects like Trillium, Mirage Tower, Tribeca, they all go up to be about 30 floors. And guess what? Promenade Peak goes all the way to 63 floors.
So basically, once you clear maybe level 35, level 38, you will have very nice and stunning unblocked views.
Which we'll share with you in a bit.
Okay, project details. Promenade Peak. Total number of blocks 1, number of floors 63. You have a total of 596 units, out of which only 477 car park lots. But if you have seen our previous video analysis on Robertson Opus, we don't really foresee this car park lots disparity with the number of unit types to be an issue because of the low car ownership rates in Singapore, and because Promenade Peak is situated very nicely between 2 MRT stations. Which MRT?
Havelock and Great World City.
Yes. Okay, so this will be constructed with PPVC, which means that there will be many of the walls within the unit itself which are not hackable. From level 2 to level 42 is where you will find the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom units. Level 44 to 62 is where you will find your 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom units, and these are all your units with private lift access. So very prestigious, very luxe, and later when you see the artist impression, you're going to be very wowed.
Okay, and then on the rest of the floors itself, you have the Grand Promenade, which has the lap pool. You have the Social Peak, which is actually on 22nd floor, and the Wellness Peak that's actually on 43rd floor, which I'm actually super impressed by. Like this developer, they actually know what's going on, what's trendy in the market.
Yes.
Later, take a look at what they've built actually on the 43rd floor. It's so amazing.
We went to the show flat and oh my lord, I fell in love. It was stunning. It was really very nice. And I'm rarely ever wowed by facilities because, you know, a lot of the developments that we see nowadays, they always boast that like, oh, 88 facilities, 100 over facilities. And, you know, they look quite standard. You know, it's just a big pool, an exercise gym in the pool. But this, I'm quite certain you have not seen in many condos.
Yep. So I mean, facilities is something that I think a lot of people like these days because you're paying maintenance, you might as well enjoy the facilities itself, right? Jupes, I haven't even mentioned the tallest infinity pool in Singapore is actually at Promenade Peak because you actually have an infinity pool. No need to go to MBS, you have one right above you if you buy this
Every day
project.
here will be a staycation.
Okay, so time to sell your house right now, right?
Yes, I really want to sell my house really. I want to buy here already. So within Promenade Peak, we have a 1+ study all the way to a 5-bedroom units as well as 2 penthouse units. These are found on level 2 to 41 and 43 onwards to level 63 will be where you can find the 3, 4, 5-bedroom units as well as the 2 penthouses. So looking at the size, the smallest 3-bedroom unit starts at 1033. That's very unheard of in today's market, right, Denise?
Yeah, because even in ECs, right now 1033 is probably a 4-bedder with the harmonization. Yeah, so basically I'm actually really surprised to see such sizes at Promenade Peak. I think they're really aiming for families who really want space, like own stay buyers who really value space itself.
And people who are looking to buy here and to stay here in the long term.
That's right. So this project is really geared for people who want it for own stay because it starts from a 2-bed, 2-bath itself, which later we'll share the layout with you. And as you can see, a lot of it will be 2-bedder units as well as 2-bed plus study. So I think that the 3 bedrooms, right, will in fact be super competitive on ballot day itself because it's so limited. And then the 3-bed premium only 38 and 4-bedroom 57. So it's actually very limited. So I think developers are really trying to give more units to the 2-bedders because they know that a lot of young, singles as well as things actually like staying in the River Valley area. And, for them to, it's a starter home for them to stay. So a 2-bedder works very well, in terms of the configuration.
And the 3-bedroom unit will be very suitable for upgraders who have made their first pot of gold from property and looking to move into the River Valley area. You have a very good size that you can upgrade to.
Yeah, not just good size and also good price range, which we will later share with you our price matrix so you can then spot which is the right price point to actually enter into.
Let's address the elephant in the room. Both Rivergreen and Promenade Peak will be launching at the same time. So which one should we choose?
Okay, so essentially, right, if I choose Promenade Peak, a 1033 square feet unit, whatever I'm paying, I can actually get a 4-bedroom at Rivergreen.
So for Rivergreen, the 4-bedroom unit is at 980 square feet. You get 4 bedrooms there. However, for Promenade Peak, the smallest 3-bedroom unit is at 1033 square feet. So there's quite a bit of a difference in the two products which are being offered in the market today. Not to say one is better than the other. It will very much depend on the buying strategy that we have on launch day.
So you mean a 4-bedroom could be priced the same price as a 3-bedroom?
We've done up a price mapping strategy for all our buyers because in these two developments, they are honestly very different products. There could be an opportunity that for the same price, you'll be able to get a 2-bedroom here. However, you will be able to get a 3-bedroom in Rivergreen.
Or either that, you can get a 1-bedroom at Promenade Peak or a 2-bedroom at Rivergreen. So at a certain point, you might be able to upsize at the other project. So with our price matrix that we'll be sharing with you guys, we're happy to run through with you where the opportunity actually lies. So do scan the QR code to actually get in touch with us.
So we've mentioned that on level 2 to 43 will be the 1, 2 and 3-bedroom unit and they will be split into the Promenade collection. Those with a private lift will be called the Promenade Suites. And on level 2 to 43, you will have ceiling heights of about 2.7 meters, whereas for the private lift units, your ceiling height will be about 2.9 meters. When you step into it, you'll be able to feel a very, very distinct difference with a unit that's just about 20 cm of higher ceiling height. Let's take a look at the views that you'll be getting from the tallest residential development in Singapore.
So in the southeast view, you're actually looking at Marina Bay Sands as well as the CBD. And above a certain level, especially in the private lift collection, essentially you overlook all the buildings because all the buildings in the area are actually below 36 floors and you are like 40 something floor itself. You clear all those condos like Postmodern, Trillium and all itself. And just imagine this is the kind of view that you can actually have. Okay, now let's take a look at the south view. That one will be towards Sentosa itself. That's on level 60. And then the north view will be to Orchard Road and Botanic Gardens. Okay, and then we have the west view, which is towards Dempsey Hill as well as the green pockets, which is actually really nice if you look at it because the land opposite currently is unblocked, so it's empty.
So the views are great. But what's going to be a safe entry price that constitutes Promenade Peak to be a good buy?
I heard, from a lot of people, this is just hearsay, that it might start from 2,400 PSF.
Yes,
That's
I heard.
crazy.
Yeah, I heard that it will be on the high end of 2,400 plus. So let's take a look.
Okay.
If the starting price is going to be 2,004 PSF onwards, we're looking at a 1+ study entry price of about 1.2 plus million, a 2-bedroom entry price of about 1.5 plus million, and a 3-bedroom entry price of about 2.5 plus million. If you track this and you go and refer to the prices of the transacted units in this region for a 99-year leasehold property that's of a mid-sized development, do you think that this is a safe entry price?
Okay, so let's say if you just go by the average, which means you stay somewhere maybe 30 floors and up in between, which is really very high floor already, essentially you're looking at maybe say 2009 PSF. And as we mentioned before earlier, this is already the price point in River Valley itself at like Martin Modern, Irwell Hill and all. So you're paying about market range for something so high level on maybe 30 something floors. 3 bedrooms might start from about 3 million onward, 2 bedroom from about 1.9, which is really, really attractive and palatable in the current market because a lot of the other new launches are already at this price point.
And if the top floors are going at about 3,400 PSF, for a 3-bedroom unit, you're looking at about 3.5 plus million. For a 4-bedroom unit, you're looking at about 4.8 plus million. And for a 5-bedroom unit, you're looking at about 6.4 plus million. And you'll be able to enjoy unblocked views.
Completely unblocked views.
Of course, in this range here, whether or not it's a safe entry buy, it will very much depend on your buying strategy. Do you have a buying strategy for Promenade Peak?
We have done a level-to-level price mapping strategy in line with all the units above, and for buyers who wish to actually work with us, do scan the QR code so that we can actually share more about this over a call with you.
Moving on to the facilities, you can see just with your eye glance that there's a lot of green here. So you'll be surrounded by greenery, and if you're looking down, you will have a very nice view of the pool, which is on level 2, as well as the facilities.
And this is the part that Julia is super, super excited about because she has an entire gym, right in the level 43 if you stay here,
Yes.
basically. Plyometric, strength zone. Maybe they're going to have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber soon too as well in here for recovery.
So this will be an outdoor area on level 43. You have like a nice boxing area, calisthenics zone, climbing zone, and a functional fitness zone. Can you imagine being on level 43, working out? It feels like you're almost on top of the world.
Yeah,
why
because
do I
this
say
part is
almost?
actually unblocked view and all.
Yeah. Why do I say almost? Because there's still level 63. On level 43, we've already cleared most of the nearby developments, and you have a very nice view, and it will be so windy and so shook to be exercising there.
Yeah, I mean, she's a fitness junkie, so she loves working out. Just imagine working out now at 43, 43rd floor now.
I hope I don't have phobia of heights when I'm there.
And guys, if you don't want to do all this strength zone and calisthenics, you can always go swimming at the top floor where you have your infinity pool. No need to go to MBS anymore. You can enjoy this just from the condo itself.
Look at the view. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's very rare to have a condo that has such nice unblocked view because you're on 60-something floor. Even you clear all those that are on 30 floor, so no worries about that. You're at the top of the world, basically.
Yes. We have 2 different types of interior finishing. In the Promenade collection, we have an interior finishing that looks like this. And for those with the private lift and the Promenade suites, we have an interior finishing that looks like this.
Like with the bathtub and all.
Yes, we have coloured satin glass, very nice big panel windows, and there's also an integrated induction hob for those with an open kitchen concept. So this will be what you can see in the suites unit where you have very nice luxe finishes, large format windows, even in the kitchen itself, kitchen island countertop, as well as double panel fridge.
Really, really luxe.
Yes. Moving on to the facade and the balcony. Because this is formed to look like pixels floating upwards from the river, you will find some units where it is a metal or steel kind of balcony, and some units which are glass balcony. But all those which are part of the Promenade Suites collection will all have glass see-through balconies. So
I prefer glass see-through balcony.
yes, of course. So for the glass see-through balcony, you will have a very nice view. If you're sitting at home in your living room and you just look out, you will have a very clear, unobstructed view. This may not be the case for some of the lower floor units, and it's not an alternate type of design.
It's kind of randomized,
Yes,
basically.
to
Yeah.
look like pixels floating their way up. So if you're very keen to find out which unit type has the glass balcony and which unit type has the metal balcony, and whether or not the developer is going to be placing a premium on these glass balcony units, and whether or not you'll be able to get a better buy if it's a metal unit, do scan the QR code to contact us, and we'll be giving this information and insight to our buyers.
Straight into the unit layout itself, and what I'm analysing now is actually the 1+ study, which has 2 stacks. Okay, so these two are actually both facing Kim Seng Road, and they're both east facing, so there are no west facing unit. And actually, if you look at the 1 bedroom plus study itself, slightly different in both the layouts itself, as we can see. But what happens is that there's a wall between the study and the bedroom, which I actually personally really like, because you can actually hack this, okay, and make this like an L-shaped wardrobe if you really want to, or just keep it as a study where you can take your calls, you can lock the room here, then you can just take calls over here. So I think this really attracts people who want it for own stay, and maybe those who are singles or young couples itself, okay. And both layouts are rather similar, but I think this one in terms of the AS2 has a larger width. Like this one looks a bit shorter in terms of the layout, but then a larger width. This one, you just have a longer walkway towards the living as well as dining room. So these are the two main differences of the 1 bedroom itself. And essentially, I find that this will attract people who want it for own stay a lot more. Okay. And one thing is that you have an efficient layout. You can make an L shape for storage and all. Okay, but one thing, these are the pros and cons that I'm going to share about the 1+ study is that, as you can see, the rental in this area is pretty attractive. You know, between somewhere around 3.5 to about 4.8 thereabouts for a 1 bedroom. These are the asking prices. Okay. However, I would say if it's for rental yield, this may not be the best area, because in the CBD itself, you are still having people who rather pay like 6,004 to 6,005 for Marina 1 or either that the sale. So if you're really looking at the 1+ study in this area for rental, I would say that actually Marina Bay attracts a different crowd, different expat crowd itself. And those who are buying for own stay, I'm just concerned that, you know, once you've outgrown the space or you've got a partner and all that, you need a bigger space, you might have difficulty actually exiting this project. So if you want to find out more about your exit strategy as a 1 bedroom owner itself, do scan the QR code and we are happy to share more.
There are going to be a couple of new launches that will be happening in the CCR region. Robertson Opus, Promenade Peak, Rivergreen, Upper House, as well as W Residences. So some of them come with studio units, some of them 1 bedroom, some is a combination of 1 bedroom plus 1+ study. And depending on how the developer decides to price the unit, you could potentially get a 1+ study in Promenade Peak for the price of a 2 bedroom, maybe in, say, Rivergreen. Okay. So the buying strategy is extremely important, and there may be opportunities found in other developments which give you a better upside in terms of rental or in terms of potential capital gain. So scan the QR code above to start a conversation with us, and we'll be sharing this price mapping strategy exclusively for our buyers.
Okay, so now let's move on to the 2-bedder layout analysis.
In Promenade Peak, there's only 2 bed, 2 bath. There's no 2 bed, 1 bath. So you can see that the developer has planned for couples or small families to actually stay inside here. So we have 2 bed, 2 bath, 61 square meters, 657 square feet. Both are north facing, and you have 2 stacks. You come in here, you have a L-shaped kitchen, and you have your dining, and then both your bedrooms are tucked on one side. Same here, you walk in, and both your bedrooms are tucked on one side. The main difference is that for this layout type, even though they are the same size, one is an L-shaped kitchen and the other is a long kitchen.
We have another 3 stacks we're going to analyze for the 2 bed, 2 baths as well.
Okay. Moving on to the bigger 2 bedroom units, This we have type B3, 667 square feet, south facing. You walk in. This will be very suitable for those who enjoy and require a bigger kitchen space because you got your fridge on this side as well as your kitchen on this side. And then you have your dining, your living, and it leads out to your balcony. And bedrooms are all tucked on one side. Type B4, it's a west-facing unit, 689 square feet. You walk in, you have the kitchen on both sides, dining, living, and then balcony. Rooms are all tucked on one side as well. Finally, we have the 678 square feet, which you enter here, you get complete privacy inside your house because you have to turn right to enter your house. So this will be very suitable for those who like to leave their door open and let air flow through the entire unit. So you walk in, kitchen on both sides of the wall, you have your dining, living, and then your balcony. So if you take a look at all the 2-bed, 2-bath layout types, you'll notice one thing. We don't have any tucked-in kitchen in Promenade Peak. So if you're the kind that prefers a tucked-in kitchen, Promenade Peak may not be the suitable development for you. However, there is another development which may be priced very competitively with a tucked-in kitchen that's also launching in River Valley. So contact us to find out which one it is.
So now we move on to the 2-bed plus study. Okay, essentially once you enter, you actually have a study space over here, and then it goes into your actual kitchen itself, which is a bit similar to the 2-bedroom where both your rooms are tucked on one side. And as you can see, same for the BS2 itself. Once you enter, also it's a study space before you enter the kitchen, and then living and dining, and then your rooms are on the other end. Next, we have the last layout, which is BS3. Once you enter, it's a study room over here, and then you have an L-shaped kitchen, and then afterwards your living, dining space, and your 2 bedrooms. So for the 2+ study, right, the space roughly is about 130 square feet more as compared to the 2-bedder itself, okay? So we multiply that by an average of 3,000 PSF, that gives us about 300,000 more just for a study. So Jubes, do you think it's actually worth it to top up that much for a study itself?
So we've analysed the 2-bed, 2-bath as well as the 2+ study, and the increment in size that you're going to get is about 129 square feet for an additional study. You multiply that by an average PSF of about 2,009, you're looking at paying an additional 200 plus to 300,000 for an additional study in Promenade Peak. Is that worth it? That would really much depend on your buying strategy, and you need to have a very, very solid buying strategy before entering into Promenade Peak or any other developments in the River Valley area.
We've done out a price mapping strategy, and potentially, right, you might be able to even get a 3-bedroom if you select the right project in this area itself. To find out more, contact us, scan the QR code above, and we're happy to share with you more. We've also done a 2-bedroom rental comparison in the area because a lot of their 200 units, I think most of them, part of it could be own stay, also a part of it could be investors who actually want to rent out. So as you can see, in the area itself, you can rent as cheap as 4,300 at RV residences. However, if you want a slightly bigger unit itself or either something with more space, within the condo facilities and all, you're looking at projects like Martin Place and Rivergate. Essentially, you're paying some like 7,500, and even Martin Modern, a 2-bed, 2-bath is asking for about 7,500 as well. So potentially, what I'm saying is that at a newer project, you are expecting to lease out around this rate, which tenants are willing to pay because the recent transactions, they're all very in line with recent rental transactions. So tenants are also willing to pay more for a newer development with more facilities.
So we've analysed the 2-bed, 2-bath as well as the 2+ study. However, that's not enough. We need to see on a holistic view all the upcoming launches in the area to see what is the best price point to enter at based on what the developer is calling. It is possible that within Promenade Peak itself, for the price of a 2+ study or even a high floor 2-bed, 2-bath, you'll be able to get an entry unit of a 3-bedroom unit in Rivergreen. So contact us to find out more on this price mapping strategy that we have for our buyers to allow you a safe entry. Over to the 3-bedroom analysis. So we have here my favorite layout, 1033 square feet. And these are found on level 2 to 42. You come in here, you have your living room, dining, and then your balcony. One thing to note is that the balcony has windows here, and this is your entrance to the balcony. It has windows here which are from your kitchen. So essentially, you see this here, and this is a pull-out table for you to have your al fresco dining in the morning when you're having breakfast, or to sit here and watch the sunset. This is a west-facing unit, so you'll be able to see the sunset from here and a very, very nice view of the Singapore skyline.
I actually really like the U-shaped kitchen, and honestly, when you have that window there, right, I think there's a lot of light because it not just comes from here, it comes from the balcony as well.
Yes.
So your kitchen is actually very well lit up in the day.
So what's really good about this layout is that at 1033 square feet, you have a nice enclosable kitchen that
U-shaped
comes
kitchen.
with windows, U-shaped kitchen. You have a household shelter. So many 3-bedroom units that we see today do not come with a household shelter, and for many of the young buyers or small families, one of the rooms will have to be used as a storage room. But for here, for 1033 square feet, you have such a special layout. You have household shelter and you have bedrooms that can fit queen size bed, master bedroom that is able to fit a king size bed as well as 2 side tables, your bathrooms tucked on one side. Of course, one thing to note is that for the common bathroom here, there is no window and it will come with mechanical ventilation.
Okay. Jobs, I realize this unit is actually west facing, so I just wanted to understand, does this still hinder buyers from actually buying a west facing? You know, everyone feels that, oh, it's very hot, direct west sun. Is that going to hinder people from actually buying this layout?
Let's take a look a little closer into the layout. So when we have the west sun that is actually shining this way, right? If you're sitting in your living room, there's actually quite a big setback from where you'll be chilling at during the day and watching TV and where the west sun is coming. And then from here, you'll be able to enjoy the sunset. In the bedrooms, definitely you'll be able to get you would be impacted by the west sun, but nowadays with advancements in technology, we have solar
film and
films,
all
we
that.
have curtains that are able to able to block out the light if it's too bright.
So I think it's really smart because now I look at this layout, the kitchen is actually over here. So what they do instead of normal like living, their dining, they actually re-swap up the sequence.
Yes.
So they have living here where you have your TV, you can host people over here. Then here where it's nearer the balcony, you have your dining and even a pull-out table here. Let's say if you want to entertain guests and all
Yes.
that to watch the sunset and all. And what I really like for those who are like young families, like Dings for example, you can actually even close up this part because this wall you can actually hack off. This wall you can't, but you can make this like your walk-in wardrobe space as well. So you can make this a usable space for Zoom meetings or either that like a work area or either that wardrobe space as well.
And the balcony space will be approximately 6 square meters.
Okay, now let's move on to the next layout, which is 1076. This is actually north facing towards Zion Promenade itself. And what I really love about this layout is really the dining space. As you enter, okay, you actually have a very spacious dining space. As you can see, you have sofas here. You can actually put your sofa even here as well. So it's very flexible, or you can put here and then have your TV here as well. It's really dependent on how you want to put your furnitures and all. Even the balcony space, I think is really generous, is really huge. And what I like is that this kitchen itself over here is tucked at one corner, and I really like that you have windows over here and also this pull-out table, and then rooms are all tucked on one side and you still have this household shelter. So honestly, this is actually my favorite floor plan amongst all the 3 bedrooms itself because I'm really in love with this dining space. It's so huge.
It's an excellent layout. What the extra space that you're getting, just now what we saw was 1033 square feet, 1033 square feet, and now we are looking at a 1076 square feet. And the difference is about 40.
Yeah.
The difference is about 40, but the extra space in the balcony that you're getting is about 32 square feet. However, because of the way the unit has been designed, you get a very, very different feel the moment you step into the unit, because when your door is open, the rest of the house, you cannot look in and you have complete privacy. So both layouts are excellent, and it will very much depend on the price point that the developer decides to announce on that day itself for us to be able to determine whether or not it's a good and safe entry.
Okay, now I'm going to move on to the 3-bedder units that have a private lift. And as you can see, these two are similar in terms of sizing, but they have a very different layout. Okay, the very first one, which is actually CP1. Okay, what happens is that the private lift, when you enter, you have a very good sized living as well as dining space, which I really like. You have a lifestyle bar over here, and then all your rooms are over tucked at one side. And you have a kitchen that leads to the yard and the utility. The other unit itself, okay, your private lift actually comes in the middle of the house, okay. And what I really like is that when you enter here, you still have the lifestyle bar, but you have a much larger kitchen. Yeah, because what happens is that for this one, the door itself, okay, it actually is in between the kitchen as well as the yard and utility. But for this one, it's just a slightly different layout, so you get a larger kitchen. So it really depends on buyers itself. What do you actually prefer in terms of, do you want a bigger kitchen space, or do you want something where there's a bit more separation with the yard and the utility and the kitchen itself? Really depends on personal preferences. But I feel that these two layouts will definitely be very popular on booking day as well. I think just now we mentioned that 3 bedrooms in its area are roughly starting from about 4 mil plus, and that's why when Promenade Peak launches and at the price point of let's say 3 mil and up, we feel that this is something that buyers can look into, because there's still
it's
a gap.
a sweet spot and a good gap between where you're at and where you can grow to, knowing that the fact that these are the freehold developments that are also going to be growing with time.
Yeah, so if we take a look at it, let's say, okay, you can get something like I mentioned, 2.1, okay, and then if you look at older project, 4 point something, and then even, let's say Trillium, which is right opposite MRT, the 3 bedroom starts from about 5 million itself. So when you are entering somewhere in the 3 mil plus range, like what Job said, you actually have that price gap to grow with all these freeholds. Even if they do grow, okay, what happens is that in terms of price point wise, those who can afford that freehold will definitely buy it. But those who are within the sweet spot of 3+ mil, they will definitely aim for a project like Promenade Peak. So even when you want to exit, you're exiting to buyers who want that gap, who love to have that gap itself. Okay, now let me show you the floor plan differences between some of the resale projects here as well as those at Promenade Peak. So I've picked out 2 units that are both with a private lift. As you can see, this is actually Trillium. Okay, and as you enter, okay, just now I already described the private lift one. Now let me look at the one that is having a private lift. So once you actually enter your unit, I really like that huge kitchen that they have. I like the dining as well as living space that they have also, as well as the bedrooms. They're all really spacious. Unfortunately, this 179 square feet, I just want to caution, it has a lot of wasted space in terms of the balcony, which is rounded, as well as the aircon latch and all. So even if you take away all this space, for example, it could be maybe 300 to 400. You still get a good size, maybe 1,003, 1,004, but you're paying like 5 mil for this square footage. Or would you rather maybe actually have a unit that's also pretty well laid out and has a pretty good layout itself, a private lift for maybe a 3-ish range? So it really depends on the type of buyers that want to buy in this area, but really it's the sweet spot that I think buyers who buy in, they actually spot that there's this gap in this area itself, and I feel that buyers who enter in will be like Martin Modern. You actually can profit, somewhat between 700 to 1 mil itself. Now that you've spotted that gap.
So the price mapping strategy that we have for the 3-bedroom units, what we see as a very strong competitor for this would be Rivergreen. Okay, so for our price mapping strategy for the 3-bedroom units, doesn't mean that something is cheaper means you must buy. Because you can see that the layouts within Promenade Peak itself, there are very, very good layouts for the 3-bedroom units. And these may be this may have a better chance in capital appreciation over the years as compared to the other new launches in the area. However, please contact us and we'll be sharing this insight and information with our buyers before booking day and before you even make a purchase from the developer. This is very important to be prepared beforehand, and not only on booking day itself to be toggling between Promenade Peak or Rivergreen, because both are going to be launched on the same day and around the same time. So we need to be able to do all this homework and preparation beforehand so that on booking day itself, we'll be very, very prepared and we know that, okay, based on this price point, we go with Promenade Peak. Based on this price point, we'll go with Rivergreen. However, even though one may be more expensive than the other, it is down to the layout analysis and you also to see which one gives you a better chance of exiting, because who are the pool of future buyers that will be buying from you.
Now let's move on to the 4-bedroom analysis.
So we have an east-facing unit and a west-facing unit. Both come with private lift. Both are very, very good layout. You have kitchen with windows here, and you also have see-through glass here, which you can slide your glass sliding door. You have very nice space in the kitchen. Different separate space in your living and your dining. You walk in, bedrooms are all tucked on one side. And the one thing to note is that in the master bedroom, it comes with a bathtub. We don't really see this anymore. Some people will think that it's a waste of space. Some people think it's a glorified laundry basket. But for me, I appreciate it. Okay, we also have a junior master here with windows in the toilet. And in the master bedroom, it comes with a walk-in wardrobe. So you can see that the developer really has put in a lot of thought into the layout, and it is really made for a long-term, comfortable own stay.
So this one will be slightly more different once you enter, okay? Your living and dining is slightly segregated. And then what happened is that the bedrooms are all on this side. And what I realized is that once you enter, you can technically see into some of the rooms itself. There's lesser privacy as compared to this other layout, okay? But what I really like is really the segregation space between the living and dining space. And overall, I think in this area itself, it's very rare to have such a nice and luxurious layout for the 4-bedroom. So this will definitely attract a certain type of buyer who basically they walk in and they just fall in the layout and they just buy. So in future, in the resale market, it's likely that the future buyers are going to be like that. They're going to be so emotionally attracted to this layout, and it being on 44th and above floors. Can you just imagine that kind of unblocked space?
The view is going to be stunning. So the moment you walk in and you have your large format tiles, when you go in, you would fall in love with the layout. Both are beautiful layouts.
Yeah. So even at west, even though it's west facing, in fact, the 5-bedroom is also a west facing layout. But I think this is not going to hinder people from actually buying because they just love the layout so much. And I mean, if you're buying something that's 5+ mil, you can already buy solar films to actually block out most of the sunlight, to be frank.
So finally, for the third type of bedroom layout, for the 4-bedroom, you come out from the lift lobby, you have a landscape living and dining. And this will be the moment you come in, you'll be able to see this entire area, and you'll also be able to look out of the balcony. So very nice, luxurious feel. You have an island in the middle of the kitchen, glass partition, sliding doors. So this is the show flat unit, extremely stunning. Scan the QR code, fix an appointment with us, come and take a look at the show flat and fall in love with it, just like how we did.
This is amazing. It's 6 meters in terms of width itself. I've never seen something so wide for a landscape living and dining space.
You have a utility room here and a powder room. Of course, the only drawback for this unit is that it does not come with a bomb shelter or somewhere that you can store your items. You could store your items here, but then the next question will be, if you were to have a helper, where would the helper be staying?
So the 5-bedroom, essentially, it's basically the really luxe version of the 4-bedroom, which was already very luxe. So basically, okay, once you enter the private lift lobby, same thing, you get a very wide this is 7.5 meters in terms of the width. So it's even larger than the one we saw earlier. Likewise, also a glass, kitchen itself that you can slide in and out, and an island kitchen. I think everyone just loves island kitchen these days. And you have a utility room over here for you to store things. And let's say if your helper needs to stay, yes, this will be the helper's room, okay? And what I really like is the junior master over here, really good sized rooms. The master have a really nice walk-in wardrobe space. And even all the bedrooms itself, there's this few bedrooms over here that I feel honestly, right, you get a lot of space itself within the unit.
So the 5-bedroom is really luxe. You have all your bedrooms tucked on this side of the house, and then this is your common area. Very nice, very clear segregation of space.
Yeah. And although it's west facing, like I mentioned, buyers who are buying at this price point of 5+ and all that, I don't think they really worry about it. And in fact, at 40-something floor, like what I showed Droops that day, the sun is just one ball. You don't really feel it because it's already so windy, right?
You get the view of the sunset every day. How lovely is that?
Yeah, it's something that not a lot of people will actually have. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So again, for the 4 and 5 bedroom, you do need to have a very clear price mapping strategy to understand what your options are in the market. Of course, layouts are very, very different, and it would really depend on whether you're going for the view. But if you're going for both investment and own stay perspective, it's very important to have a very good overview of what are your available options in the market. So scan the QR code, and we'll be giving this to all the buyers that we're working with.
We have come to the end of the video, and thank you so much for sitting through with the Rivergreen Queens. So be it OCR, RCR, or even CCR, do you have a buying strategy? If you select the wrong unit, it can cost you may lose money, or you could be profiting if you want to profit. So if you want to know more about our strategy and our buying strategy itself, scan the QR code and have a chat with us. Let's catch up over a call.